Good morning and welcome to Namaste Today, an optimistic way to begin your weekday. I'm Christopher Witecki, your humble host and spiritual life coach. This audio blogcast is for Tuesday, February 21st, 2017. Welcome back, my friend. Namaste. As I reported yesterday in the weekly Namaste Today, this week you will be navigating your karma. And the last 3 days, things may have been turbulent as the energy of Pisces is opening up. Today I predict you will begin to open up now on a profound scale of what your soul is really sensing. In today's Zodiac weather, I'll talk about the planets and how they're lining up to reveal your truth. Then later in tea time, considering we're in the I Sense state of awareness, I thought I would do a little mini class called Psychic 101. But first, let's take a look at today's moods and your Zodiac weather. This Zodiac weather is for Tuesday, February 21st, 2017. And my global moodcast for the Earth today is sunny and focusing. The sun at step 3 Pisces is calling for you to open up, but the moon in Capricorn is making you feel shut down. Let's take a look at the planets. Well, my friend and earthly neighbor, welcome to Pisces. And as of today, you're likely really feeling the vibration. The vibration of Pisces is oversensitive and also feeling both detached and oversensitive to reality at the same time. You're literally spaced out and oversensitive. And today, step 3 Pisces rules the day, which means you're trying to get your beliefs and your senses to agree. So this is a day where you may sense something that your beliefs tell you otherwise. Like you believe there's no such thing as ghosts, but you sense that there are ghosts. And so you're going to work through conflicts between what you psychically sense is true and what you have believed and known to be true so far. That's the stirring that's going on inside of you. Now, as of today, there'll be some sort of snap, some sort of decision made that's going to begin to open you in a big way to your higher spiritual story. The sun is conjuncting Neptune at step 11, and that means we're all being psychically carried, and by psychically carried I mean in your sleep or subconsciously, but we're being psychically carried to our spiritual truth. And so today, doors open in your understanding as you explore your beliefs and your sensibilities, and these doors will lead to a deeper and deeper subconscious connection. Now, just as an FYI, as the sun crosses Neptune, you literally will have things go a little batty. This is the time of year where people go a little too far with things. That's one of the things Neptune is known for. What Neptune is doing is allowing you to open up to your higher state of awareness. Some people do this through drugs, some people do this through dreams, some people do this through self-sabotage behavior. And so really, depending on where people are spiritually, everyone is seeking to escape and go up right now. And you're going to find that every day of this week, it continues to climb and climb. In fact, the sun and Neptune will be conjuncting in just 8 days. And when that happens, you will have come into your new spiritual story. Now, as you're opening up to subconscious or spiritual realms today, you're going to feel sort of shut down. In fact, the moon in Capricorn will likely trigger some control issues. This is to be expected, and the best thing to do is just to assure that you're safe and assure that you're in control of your own feelings and then proceed. But at some point today, you're likely going to have to relinquish control in order to explore your spiritual truths. You might have to relinquish control in order to open that door and walk through to see what's going on. The other planets report what is going on. Mercury is at step 22 Aquarius today. That is the Grandmaster step of Aquarius. Now, Aquarius is where we belong. And because of the Mercury retrograde we experienced earlier this year, Mercury is still catching up to the Sun. So what that means is, as you begin to get pulled into the escapism of Sun conjunct Neptune and go down this magical mystery tour, your mind is still taking care of details about where you belong and don't belong. And in the next 24 hours, I predict some sort of aha moment about where you belong. Now, it's likely that because you are opening up to the spiritual realm or the subconscious or your psychic intuition, it's likely that it's the spiritual opening that got you to the aha moment. But today, Mercury also trines Jupiter, which is retrograde at step 22, Libra. And that means this is a deeper aha moment than just a light bulb going off. This is some sort of alignment where your mind will go, yes, I think, that's the mind, I think I belong over here. I think this is the place that I belong. And with Jupiter in the background, you're feeling that, yes, and this is the fair spot. This is what is fair to me. This is levels my playing field. This makes the relationship better because Jupiter in Libra is looking to balance things and bring things into harmony. So today, it looks like there is an aha moment where you can bring things into harmony. Now remember, Pisces is always two fish swim in two ways. So as the universe offers this harmony today, the universe offers disharmony as well. Mars is squaring Pluto today at step 18. And that means your ego is looking to move forward right now, to break new stride, to come to a new level of strength. And by the way, whenever the universe is calling for us to be strong, it's usually inside that we feel weak. So if you're feeling weak and you're feeling like you don't have the energy, yes, that is what a developing Mars is. But today, we're making some sort of decision to move forward with our character, move forward with our story. And the square to Pluto is there'll be some fears that this could be wrong or against the rules or may not work out or people may not like it. And with the moon in early Capricorn, you'll be feeling all these things that could go wrong or feeling all these things where the system might be against you. But the truth is you are rising up above what has been. And we are ascending to a higher level. So you'll have to face those fears if they do come up. Now Mars is heading for Uranus at step 21, Aries. And what this little ego buildup is heading toward is a new definition of your character. When Mars conjuncts Uranus, you will see some sort of shift in your strength. And there will be kind of a rocky moment where you are jumping up and down with your boxing gloves in the air. Now, ironically, this day will be on the same day as the solar eclipse this Sunday. So this little struggle you feel today of being strong and moving forward, I just want you to know, I do think it's going to pay off this Sunday. So keep on trucking. And since we are trucking down the psychic world path, I think it's time for you to steep yourself some tea. It's time for our daily tea time. Hello, my friend, and welcome to our tea time. Today's tea time topic is Psychic 101. I'm going to share with you some of the tips and tricks I've learned to psychic awareness. Now, this is the best time of year to have this topic because the sun is in Pisces, and that means that human beings are being pulled almost magnetically into their psychic state of awareness. And I believe that human beings have 12 states of active awareness. That's what the 12 signs actually are. When you have a sun in Taurus or a sun in Pisces or a sun in Leo, for instance, it's not that you are completely a Leo or completely a Taurus. It's that you put your heart into that state of awareness, that part of human being, that part of being human. That's your favorite part, or that's the part your heart wants to be. But we are all states of awareness, and we put all of our energy into one. We actually have to take even more time and space to make sure we're aware of the others. Now, in this lifetime, I believe human beings are opening up to their psychic awareness on a global scale. And I believe we once had our psychic awareness open, but somewhere along the way we turned our back on it. Maybe where our chromosomes were shut down, all sorts of things. But I do know, and as I talk to my guides and talk to Spirit, that it is time for our spiritual awakening, and that means it's time for everyone to pay attention to their God-given state of awareness of psychic energy. So it's like, okay, I have psychic energy, but where is it? That's literally the question. It's not a question of if you are psychic or if you are connected to spirit. It's a question of, are you aware that you are connected to spirit? Are you aware where that doorway is inside of you? Now, a lot of people have a lot of phenomenon with psychic ability already. They think of a person and then that person calls them or text messages them. You'll dream about somebody and they'll actually call you. You'll dream about a person or maybe run into them. We'll look across the traffic and someone will look straight into your eyes. We have a lot of evidence in our daily lives that psychic ability is clear and present, but it doesn't happen on cue. Why is that? Well, looking at the states of awareness, the truth is it's always actively working with us. In fact, our brain, which is Gemini, the twins, right? Those twins, in my opinion, come down to right brain and left brain. Your right brain is your creative and intuitive brain. Your right brain is already connected to spirit, and almost all the ideas and inspiration that come to your brain come actually psychically to your right brain. Your left brain is your logical brain, and your left brain is the one that takes credit for all these ideas. The left brain is kind of the controlling one, and the one that goes, oh, good idea, I'm so glad I came up with that. But you never really slowed down and observed your own thinking and noticed that you didn't logically go through the filing cabinet in your head. The answer just popped in there, and once it popped in there, you recognized it, and you just assumed, oh, you're smart, that's how your brain works, and didn't really question where that information came from. You just knew when it was right, and you ran with it. So human beings actually work in their psychic intuitive mind all day long. It's just that science is getting all the credit. So the information is always there. It's always present in your being. The question is, where do you look inside of you to be able to point directly to it? Well, I'll share with you a little bit of how my psychic development unfolded, and maybe some of you can relate. The earliest notion of me being psychic actually goes to when I was a kid. In fact, I can remember around age 7 or so that my father asked me a question, and I looked up in the sky and answered, and my dad said, why do you look up in the sky when you are thinking about a question? And that was interesting. I was like, I don't know, Dad. Whenever I look in the sky, the answer just comes in my head. And my dad was just like, He didn't really say anything or reflect past that. But looking back, that was the first notion where I began to be aware that answers just pop in my head. And I also was aware that when I looked and canted my head in a certain direction, when I had a certain movement with myself and went into a certain sort of stare, I recognized that stare, that movement, that brought the answer somehow. And that was really the beginning of me knowing I was psychic. But at that age, I didn't really notice. I did notice when I was in high school that when I would talk to people, particularly girls with their boyfriend problems, because that was my thing in high school. I talked to that was how I got to know girls, was, getting to talk to them about their boyfriend problems and having some astrology knowledge to kind of help them and that sort of thing. And I would remember as I was talking to these girls, like, I would suddenly just realize that he's going to cheat on her, or I would just realize something's going to happen. But didn't have enough faith in it, so I kept it all to myself. But, lo and behold, later on, it would reveal, oh yeah, he did cheat. These things did happen. And I noticed to myself, and I started to realize, okay, I'm very kind of hit and miss with psychic ability. It's obviously kind of coming up a little bit. Then I got into astrology, and I did notice in astrology that when I was studying astrology, I seemed to know what the planets meant before I read it in a book. I would go, I would see Mars in Pisces, and I would say, oh, I bet you that's this, this, and this. And then sure enough, I go in the book, and indeed, that's what it was. So I started to notice that I was channeling information, and in readings, which were purely astrological in the very beginning, like me looking at planets and stuff, at least I thought they were astrological, I would, try to be funny and charismatic and say some sort of weird joke about, dolphins in Disneyland or something, and the client would freak out and go, oh my God, that reminds me of the time when I was a kid with my dad where we saw the dolphins at Disneyland. I can't believe you said that. And I was starting to realize that when I would go off and try to be funny and be spontaneous, I would actually be channeling specific details to my clients' lives. And that happened over and over and over again. And so I started to see, gosh, I really think maybe I have some abilities here. How can I connect to them? I want to open these up. So I did a lot of things. In fact, I did what I call a yes-no game, which I'll tell you at the end of this tea time, and started to go down this path. And one day I actually had a reading from another astrologer. And this astrologer basically, who was brilliant, by the way, and had great past life advice, she's really good, one of the best I've ever been encountered. She basically was like, here's the deal, you're a psychic, but you're in the closet. You probably don't even know you're psychic. It has to do with your past lives, where being psychic was blah, 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 blah. And she was basically telling me that my belief structure was that psychic is bad, and therefore I was turning a blind eye to my psychic ability because I had this belief that being psychic would be a bad thing. It would lead to trouble. So I was literally blinding myself. And as soon as that phone call ended, I suddenly saw the Matrix. Like the first time, you see that in that movie, he sees the Matrix the first time. Suddenly I was like, oh my God. And I realized that I've always been psychic. It's always been here. I have been mislabeling this information inside of me. That's what I realized, that I always have this information. I just spun it off to creativity, or spun it off to this, or spun it off to that. And there's actually a way of knowing if it's psychic or not. And I began to realize that there was a certain zone that I would go into when I became really psychic. Like when I had a really good reading, I'd be in a certain zone. Or when something came to me, like a feeling or something, when I was talking to somebody, there'd be this certain feeling zone inside of me. And I realized, oh, the zone. You have to go into the zone in order to open up your psychic ability. And I was able to identify what this emotional zone was. And that was when the door really opened. When I took away the belief structure of believing it wasn't possible and I discovered the zone, at that point, I could deliberately go in the zone, and I knew the information I was getting was correct. And I've been correct ever since then. Now, the hard part is staying in the zone, okay? Like, you have to find the zone and you have to stay in the zone. And that's really what I'm going to dedicate this week for you guys to, is helping you identify the zone, helping you stay in the zone, helping you understand what the steps are involved to enter the zone. And before I leave you today, I'm going to leave you with a little kind of game to play. This is the yes-no game. This is a game that I played when I was starting to develop as a psychic. This was actually before the astrologer told me that I was psychic. And this is a little game you can play with yourself every day to kind of open up your psychic eye and begin to become aware of your psychic abilities. What you do is you, first of all, have to take a position where you listen to yourself. You have to understand how to listen to yourself. And I'm going to give you more shows on how to listen to ourselves here as the week progresses. But you have to take a moment and you have to ask yourself a yes-no question. Now, this yes-no question has to be something totally stupid that your heart doesn't care about. So it's like, will my roommate be home tonight? Yes or no? And see what answer comes up inside of you, a yes answer or a no answer. Again, it has to be with stuff that your heart doesn't care about, because when your heart cares about stuff, that's when you start second-guessing, going in circles inside of yourself. And play this game with lots of things. Will this happen? Will that happen? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And then find out. Find out if it did happen. Were you right? Was your yes right? Was your no right? And if not, go back and replay to yourself. Did you really get a yes when you asked that question? Or did you, thinking back to that feeling, was it a yes feeling, was it a no feeling? A lot of times when we reconsider it, we realize, oh, it was a no, but then my heart got excited. And you start to differentiate the answer from your own response to the answer. So sometimes you'll start to unveil like, oh, my heart jumps in or my mind jumps in. That's your response. That's your response corrupting the answer. So keep it simple. Play the yes-no game. And your goal is to identify very strongly what a yes feeling feels like and what a no feeling feels like. And that yes-no principle is the basis of opening your psychic eye. All right, my friend, that's all I have for today. I am so grateful to be of soul service to you. I want to put out that we now have a Facebook club. This is, if you're a Facebook member, you can join our club. We'll be doing postings there and asking some group questions at times. But you can navigate and join the club by coming to namastetoday.club. It'll take you straight to our Facebook club. All right, I hope you have a fabulous day. I will see you tomorrow. Until then, remember, I love you. And live, love, be. Live, love, be.